Hey, this is Niraj, Renegade Pharmacist. Today I'm here with my good buddy Bart Biermans, and we just this weekend hosted the Wim Hof event in Barcelona. So that's why Bart's here with me right now, my place in Barcelona, and it was a really amazing event. And Bart shared the science behind the Wim Hof Method, and it was super insightful, really interesting stuff. So I'm just going to find out a bit more about Bart, what he does, his background, and then he's going to talk in depth the key points about the science behind the Wim Hof Method. So, Bart, super excited
Of course,
to have
I,
you.
I like to talk about it. I like to spread the word, and I'm glad with your invitation to just before catching my flight back to Amsterdam to do a short tutorial on the Wim Hof method.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit more about yourself, what you do. I know you're a doctor.
Yes. I'm a medical doctor. I have my own clinics for cosmetic medicine, but now changing my career more to the holistic things in life. This year will be a holistic therapy. It's like a lot with Gestalt therapy, maybe you know.
Yeah.
And I'm helping Wim out with the international workshops and do my own workshops and weekends. So it's an exciting time. Lot is changing, and I'm happy to be part of the family and spread the word. Yes.
Fantastic. So how did you get into the Wim Hof Method in the first place?
Actually, that's a really funny story. I was quite afraid of cold, and I wanted to challenge myself. So when Wim came on Dutch television, I was intrigued by his method because there was some science behind it, but also because I really wanted to test myself in this cold. And then I booked a weekend, and from the weekend there was a week in the Pyrenees, and after that I took the instructor course and graduated as a certified instructor in 2015.
Wow.
And then I started, everything went in a roller coaster, and yes, been so much crazy stuff. I did some stuff for Dutch television, and yoga schools, athletes, the big companies. So it's very diverse field of play, and I like it. I like the different aspects.
Wow,
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
So did you yourself see many transformations by sharing this technique? Have you seen lots of...
Yes. I was very. Of course, I did the teaching for people, but I also the instructor course. There were a lot of instructors that also did it because of their health issues, and then we saw some amazing recoveries. And what is important to say, it's like it doesn't not always cures the disease, but it makes the symptoms less and more bearable, and it's a good alternative for medicine in many ways. Yeah.
Without side effects, obviously.
Without side effects. Yeah. And it's like feeling is understanding, so you just challenge yourself, be your own scientist, and start breathing and see what happens in your body, and you can see for yourself if it works out or not. Not always works out for everybody. It's like not possible, but for a lot of people they benefit in one way or the other, because the benefits are a lot. There are a lot of benefits from for your sleep, for anxiety, cardiovascular system, athletic performance, autoimmune, your immune system. So you can just get what you want from it.
So it's a great prevention tool. If you want to basically prevent the chances of the risk factors associated with getting chronic illnesses.
Yes, there's no science behind that statement, but that's more that you experience more power in yourself, more health in ways of not getting the flu, and so it's very tangible. You can really notice in your body the changes in a lot of aspects, and for me that's more important than science, to be honest.
Yeah. So as I'm a pharmacist and you're a doctor, it would be great to actually go deep into the science behind the Wim Hof Method. What is actually fact? What's fiction? And to apply this to health and general health and well-being. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
So
what
tell
do
me
you know?
about the Wim Hof method then. So like obviously we know there's some three main components.
Yes.
Let's go through the first component, the breath work.
The breath work, yes. I always call it the first pillar. That is, the breathing is there. Actually, most research is based on the breathing and not on the cold.
Okay.
So that's important to know. So the breathing, everybody can do it. That's the most important. I think that's a good message also, because sometimes the cold for some countries it's more difficult, of course, to have that really intense cold exposure.
Like Thailand, where I live.
Yes. So don't worry. You can just do the breathing, and most of science is behind the breathing. And the breathing, what happens during the breathing is very interesting. What I always try to explain, it's a deep breathing, it's not a fast breathing. Fast breathing, people associate it with hyperventilation, and this is just thorough ventilation, you know. You can also turn it around and say we're always hypoventilating, so we're not breathing fully, you know. And now you're going to fully breathe, and that makes that your CO2 level drops a little in your body. Your O2 level during the practice drops, and those changes in those two components, they initiate a cascade of events in your body.
Okay.
Sometimes happy hormones are released from the pituitary gland in your brain, like DMT, dopamine, endorphins, and that can be associated with a lower consciousness during the breathing. You're entering different layers of your brain that can get you to parts of yourself and your brain that were not accessible before. So that's for some people who they are not really practicing, like you, pranayama breathing or something, their first real spiritual experience, and that's within 10 minutes. So that's really strong thing about the method, that everybody can do it and you can be there in 10 minutes.
And this is just from the first bit, the power breathing bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a way, breathing is a way, and because of the time I cannot get in really in depth, but breathing is a way. There are three different types of brain. It's the human brain that makes us human, with a lot of beliefs and conditioning, but also like higher functions like verbalization, imagining, and that kind of stuff. Then you have the emotional brain. It's under there. The top layer is the human brain. Then you have the emotional brain, and that is what it says. Emotional emotions are centered there. And you get the reptilian brain with the really primitive functions like the fight, flight, fight response. We'll comment on that later with the pillar of the cold. It's an important one, and that's the really reptilian brain, like it says. It's the most primitive brain, and a lot of times those three brains are not integrated, and you're in one of the brains is overpowering the others, so it's not in balance, you know. And then fears come in and other, you know, disbalances in your mental health. And with the breathing you reconnect those three parts. And maybe you can remember from pranayama that you go to some emotions. So you're leaving the conscious mind, your human brain, you deep dive into your emotional brain, you know. And by just sheer doing that, you integrate those parts. And that's a very powerful thing about the breathing, that you're integrating all those parts of your brain, so you get more autonomous, more strong, more healthy, more also mentally fit for all the tasks life will present you.
Nice. Okay, so this is the first part of the breathing. So you're basically doing this circular connected breathing, and you are breathing out all the CO2, breathing in more oxygen.
Yes.
And so this is obviously going to make the pH of the blood slightly more alkaline.
Yes,
okay.
You're a funny guy. You want really the scientific details. So
I do.
I will give you the ones. Yes, the because of the breathing, you make the body more alkaline, and there are suggestions that an alkaline body is good for you. But moreover, that we have a lot of acidity in our system because of Western things like stress, and that's not really Western, but stress, pollution, red meat, smoking. So this is a really nice method to counterbalance those acidity attacks on your body. And you can really test it out yourself. So for you guys listening now or watching this video, buy some pH strips, pee on it before you go to do the breathing, and then after, and you will see if you do it right, because it's also a nice test. If you do the breathing right, it will change in pH points, sometimes 3. So it's really significant. It's mind blowing actually that you can really make that difference.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So that's the first phase, and then now basically you breathed out all the carbon dioxide. So let's talk about the role of carbon dioxide, and how that relates to the next phase.
Yeah, but that's more a hypothesis. It is like that you lower the CO2, and then a cascade of reactions with hormones, like the happy hormones we talked about, the DMT and stuff. And that thing we don't have really clear yet scientifically, you know. So the science behind this, I will try to explain it very clear and for everybody to understand, is that we did a research with a dead bacteria, and we made 2 groups to test. One group trained by Wim, and one group a control group, and we injected that bacteria, and then several tests were run. One test they checked adrenaline and cortisol levels, and they were with the Wim Hof breathing group significantly different, higher adrenaline levels, and the cortisol peak went to baseline more quick. Yes, but that's not what I want you to take home. It's more that adrenaline and cortisol are substances released by your autonomous nervous system, and it's in the name, autonomous. You cannot control it. And with this test, we saw that we can control it. So we can influence the adrenaline level, cortisol level, and those levels will trigger all kind of other mechanisms in the body. But moreover, what was even more interesting, and also maybe I think even more relevant to healthcare system, because Wim really wants to have a paradigm shift in the healthcare system, is that you can influence your immune system. And what we saw is that the group trained by Wim Hof had less white blood cells at the place of infection. So he lowered down the white blood cells, and that is interesting for example autoimmune diseases, because then your own body attacks yourself, and your immune system is way too active. So this might be a solution for these kind of diseases. Okay. So that's really promising. If we can get strong research behind this, then I think the insurance companies will be fighting to implement this method.
Nice. Yeah. So we have the circular breathing bit, and then you hold your breath for as long as possible. Right? So this is the bit you're talking about that creates the
everybody's
cascade.
thinking what is that breathing, you know? So practically it's like 30 deep breath through the belly, and then belly, chest. Be careful, don't get too much in your mind with how to do it. So deep breathing, that's important. And then you breathe out and you stop breathing, and then you wait for the feeling that you have to breathe. And it's important to know that's because of your CO2 level increases in the body. Yes, because you don't breathe and your tissue is producing CO2. Yeah. And at a certain level you feel I have to breathe, and that's your CO2 level. A lot of people don't know that. It's really strange actually, because you cannot do lung without oxygen, but there's no measurement in the body whatsoever. So that's in a way kind of strange that it's measured by the CO2, but it's like that. And then the first breath in is fully in, hold for 15 seconds. I mostly say as long as you like, you know, because when you do that last breath hold, a lot can happen. That's the moment that you really enter a deeper layer of your brain. And if that's a spectacular entering, why stop with 15 seconds? You know, if you want to enjoy a minute, enjoy a minute. So that's what I always say. Like this first retention is as long as you can, but don't force. And the second retention, so breath hold, is as long as you like.
And actually you get like this kind of euphoric feeling when you hold your breath.
Yeah.
To be on a certain point, and that's obviously the adrenaline and the
and the endorphins and the feel-good hormones and the DMT and what I have to say, because this is broadcasted on your website, you don't know who you will reach, but this is a method you really have to apply on your yoga mat, because you're entering deeper layers of the brain, the subconscious layers. You don't want to be in a swimming pool, you don't want to be behind the steering wheel. So it's important, really important, if you're gonna practice alone, then that you do it on your yoga mat, and then it's safe. Although I always recommend a workshop, because then we can also, there are some things concerning health, or look it up at the Inner Fire website, Wim Hof Method, when you can do it and when you cannot do it. Yeah.
Nice.
Shall we go to the second?
Yeah.
Because I gotta catch my plane.
Yeah.
That is the cold. That's a pillar for. I think it's quite easy to explain what happens when you're entering the cold, and it really depends what is cold. You know, is a cold shower cold, and what is a cold shower? An ice bath, for sure, it's cold. Yes, and I think all the water under 10 degrees is pretty cold and will give you a nice shock, because that is what is important about the cold exposure is the shock. I think that the most important is that you get into a fight-flight response. That means you want to fight, flight, or you fright, or you freeze. And that's a primal response in animal kingdom, and it's based on survival. You know, if an antelope is attacked by a lion, then he can fight. Most antelope doesn't do, but a lot of prey will fight if there's no way out. They can flight, run away. Most prey do. And the last thing, it is fright, freeze. Do you have any idea why you would do that?
Well,
what is your higher chance of survival if you freeze?
Well, it's almost like going like that into a ball and hiding.
There are two practical aspects, and I think it's really nice to share. It is like if a prey freezes, and for example,
acts like it's dead.
Yes, he acts like he's dead. So maybe the lion makes a mistake and leave it for a few minutes out of sight, and he's gone. But the second one, who is even more important, it's in a freeze state. You're in a subconscious layer of your mind. Most prey are eaten alive, so it's good that they go in a freeze state, so that they don't experience the pain when they're eaten. So so that was really interesting.
So it has a pain relief.
Yes. Okay. So that's what happens if you go into the ice bath. You will get into that fight-flight. You will release all the hormones. So after the ice bath, you will feel you're tripping on your happy hormones again. So that's a really nice feeling. But the essence of an ice bath is that you encounter the most strong stress response in animal kingdom, and you learn the body to stay relaxed into that, to ease into that. Yes. So the breathing goes up, and you try to slow the breathing down. Yes. And it's important that you trust yourself and that your focus is on a hot spot, like Wim always tells here. But I like it's less cool, but here, in my opinion, is more strong.
Well, I tend to go like this.
Yes. No, I put my fist on my heart, and I press it on my heart, and by the pressure I get my attention there. You know. So for me, it's also really powerful when I see people struggling. I take their hands and I put my hand on them and I press, and I'm with them, and that is always magical. They
relax.
Let go. Yes. Because it's also important that you let go. You don't push through it. And there's a mental game I play with my people that are in the ice bath. I always say you can only go out of the ice bath if you don't have to go out anymore. Otherwise you can push yourself through that end 2 minutes, and now you have to let go. So that's the powerful thing about it, is that you teaches the body to let go in the most ultimate stress response. So if you do it more and more, you teach the body how to respond on stress. And you know how many sicknesses are now around because of stress.
Yes, yes.
So if you de-stress yourself by taking the ice bath and teaching your body how to react on stress, you can take it way home with every situation, with a friend not that is not how do you say is swearing at you, or is you know, you can all the stress response you now learn. Okay, I gotta breathe through, I gotta relax, I gotta let go. Okay, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know,
It makes you more resilient to stress.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is the thing of the cold. I think that is the most important. And of course, if you want to be Wim Hof, if you really training with the cold, but then you need that cold climate or a really cold shower, you're more resilient to the cold, and your body can take care of the cold. You know, you have to get yourself out of the conditioned, controlled temperature environment to let the body know how to activate. That's also new knowledge, how to activate brown fat. And with brown fat, you can easily get energy out of your body to heat up your body. Yeah.
Interesting.
Shall we go to the last pillar?
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
Last pillar is the mindset, and I think the mindset is the most important pillar, but also the less tangible pillar. You know, like breathing, you do this, cold, you do this. What is mindset? You know, so that is feeling, is understanding. It is just by doing. And it's also just by not doing, you know. By just training with the cold and with the breathing, you automatically go into those deeper layers of consciousness. And it's more like do nothing, not go in that mind of rambling thoughts, but let intuitively the body get to the answers. So, and that is, you will do that automatically by the breathing. You go to a subconscious layer. By release yourself into that ice, you go to that. So it's not a tangible one, it's something that will evolve if you're open to it. So the mindset, of course, you have to have certain mindsets, like a strong mindset that you of discipline, that you want to get deeper into the practice. Like with every practice, you know that as well. If you're not resilient, you don't get the fruits, or at least not the maximum fruits you can get out of it. So that is an important one. So I always tell my clients, like, strong intention, 1 month, every day, and then we talk, you know, see what it brings you, and then you hope the benefits will outweigh the, how do you say, they have to have the discipline to do it every day. Although I think when you look at it, it's important that the breathing, you integrate it so in your day that it's pleasure, you know. It's something you look forward to. So if you need nice oils for the smell, or you need nice music, or you need your favorite pillow, or whatsoever, just bring it all together, that you really feel like this is my moment of peace, my 20 minutes, 30 minutes of breathing, and then you can integrate it in your daily routine, and then you get the maximum benefits. Yeah.
Great. So is there anything you want to add, like more to this? Like, is any last key facts or things that people should...
last research, it's called brain over body, and I think that's a nice conclusion to this talk. That and I can illustrate that with the placebo effect. The placebo effect, as a Renegade Pharmacist, you're familiar with that. It means you give a group of patients a pill with a substance that will cure them, like with a medicine, and the other group of people you give a pill without anything in it.
A sugar pill.
A sugar pill, yes.
Yeah.
And what we see in many research is that the people who get the sugar pill have more improvement on their sickness than people who get the real pill. So if I can put this into words, it is that people, you give them the imagination that they can get better from a pill. They don't know that there's nothing in, of course, and they get better. So that proves the power of the mind. And I think for the paradigm shift to happen, that we are going to look different at health, we don't have to do all medicine away. There are antibiotics, for example, made it possible to do a great scale of getting infectious disease out. So I think it has a place for sure. But I think for chronic disease, it's really time to shift the paradigm and look at different methods for healing and health. And we have to reevaluate what is health, and how can we keep our health.
Yes.
And it's not only preventive; it's also a different way of looking at it. So,
very cool.
and that's as a doctor, that's my mission with Wim, to get that word out. And I'm honored to be in this position and meet so much interesting people that are also. The world is ready for it.
Yeah.
People are ready for it. Health costs is spiraling out of control.
Indeed.
People are open for alternatives. So I think this is also the exact right time for Wim Hof Method to spread the world.
Yes.
And I'm happy.
It's very powerful. So just to summarize then, so Bart is a doctor and he is a Wim Hof instructor. His mission is spreading this more awareness of Wim Hof Method to as many people as possible. And just to go over the science quickly, the first pillar, which is the breath work phase, is it's really about the positive stress response and creating this cascade of positive hormones in the body that builds resilience to stress. Same thing with the second phase, which is the cold therapy. You are subjecting yourself to a positive shock of stress for a short burst of time that again makes you more resilient to the stress. And then the third phase is the mindset and power of intention, and basically overcoming your fears and becoming more resilient to stress by being in control of your thoughts and your moods. So I think that was a summary of it.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Yeah, and the brain over body is a really fantastic study. You can see more of the information about that in this article that's below this video, or on my website, the renegadepharmacist.com, if you're watching this on YouTube or in the Facebook group. But been great having you here, Bart.
Yeah,
it's been amazing
being here.
And I'm sure we're going to be doing lots of events together in the future.
Yeah, that would be great.
Excellent.
All right.
So where do we find out about you, actually?
My website is icemantrainingen.nl.
Nice.
But like Iceman and then trainingen, but that's a Dutch word. But maybe we can do something on the.
I'll have a link for you anyway. And you basically do like coaching with people, with clients.
Yes. It like I said in the beginning, it's very diverse, and I like to give the day workshops. I like to give the weekends. I like to assist Wim and everything that comes on my path, and I can inspire people with. And I think my next focus will be corporate,
Nice.
because I think there is a lot of power, and we can positively influence the people by getting them more conscious.
Nice.
And get big changes. Yes.
Love it. Beautiful. All right, so Renegade Pharmacist and Bart Biermans.
See you
Peace.
guys.